Hello, my dear friends. This past Sunday was the yahrzeit of Rav Chaim ben Attar, the author of the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. He was buried at the foot of Har Hazesim. There were tens of thousands of people that came to visit his kever, his burial place, on the day of his yahrzeit. Who was this individual? He was born in Morocco at the end of the 1600s. Eventually, he made his way to Eretz Yisrael, where he settled for a short period of time, where he had started a yeshiva. He died at the young age of 47. He was a tremendous Kabbalist, and his commentary on Chumash, the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, is one of the most beautiful commentaries, interwoven with deep thought and Kabbalistic ideas. I remember as a child, I was quoting to my father something that the Orach Chaim HaKadosh said, and I said to my father, the Orach Chaim says, my father Zichrono Livracha said, you don't refer to him as the Orach Chaim. He's referred to as the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, the holy Orach Chaim. He was afforded, I don't know, others Gedolim or other Svarim that have that title of HaKadosh. He was the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. His Torah on Chumash is amazing. Their art scroll went ahead and undertook to translate the Orach Chaim HaKadosh to make it accessible to the masses. So I saw something this week. I was at the kever. I was there on Monday, the day after the yahrzeit. I saw something beautiful in the Orach Chaim HaKadosh that I want to share with you. I never had seen this idea before. The Chumash is in Parashas Pinchus delineates the different Shvatim and their children, and when it speaks of the tribe of the children, descendants of Reuven, who was the Bechor, so it mentions the fact that Dasan v'Aviram were descendants of Reuven. Dasan v'Aviram were the ones that joined together with Korach to stage a rebellion against Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Chumash says, Dasan v'Aviran, who Dasan v'Aviran? This is Dasan v'Aviran, Kriya Eida Asher Hitzu al Moshe v'Aaron B'Daskar. They're the ones that instigated the fight against Moshe and Aaron, together with Korach. V'Tiftach Haaretz Etzpiyah, and the earth opened up its mouth. V'Tivah Osam is Korach, and it swallowed them together with Korach, and together with 250 people from the tribe of Reuven who joined in the fight as well. They were not consumed by the earth, but the fire came down and consumed their neshama. So the Orach Chaim asks, why does the Torah single out Dasan v'Aviram? Korach was we assume he was the primary instigator, and it only mentions him in passing that Dasan v'Aviram were the ones that instigated the Machlokas of Moshe together with Korach. It makes it sound like Korach was secondary. So the Orach Chaim HaKadosh says that Dasan v'Aviran were the instigators. They were the ones. They not only instigated that the 250 people from the Shevet Reuven should join the fight, but they instigated with Korach as well. Had it not been for their intervention or their instigation, Korach would have not staged rebellion against Moshe Rabbeinu. So therefore the Chumash singles out when it says who Dasan v'Aviran, or Chaim HaKadosh asks, what does the Chumash mean? That is Dasan v'Aviran. He says it means to say they're the ones that were the primary cause for the Machlokas. So the Orach Chaim HaKadosh says a startling thing. He says that this is a limud schus for Korach and the 250 people that joined with Korach, that even though they were guilty of rebelling against Moshe Rabbeinu, but they were not the primary instigators. Were it not for Dasan Aviram, Korach would not have started a machlokas with Moshe Rabbeinu. And therefore the Orach Chaim HaKadosh says that Korach will, when the Mashiach comes and there'll be Tchias HaMesim, the dead will, resurrection of the dead, Korach will rise, and the 250 people will rise. Dasan v'Aviran, and these were the nemesis of Moshe Rabbeinu earlier in Chumash as well. They're the ones that will not, they will their souls will be lost forever. They will not have Tchias HaMesim. But Korach and his Eidah and the 250 people, they will rise from the dead. He says it's a limit schus for Korach. We think the Korach was such a terrible, but he did a terrible avera, but you can't pin the blame on him fully. He was motivated and inspired to what he did through Dasav Aviram. So there's a tremendous lesson here, and that is how a person is responsible for influencing other people, to the extent that even though Korach was such a tremendous Rasha, and the whole parsha named after him, but Korach is not the one who started the machokas, and therefore, even though he was swallowed up by the earth, he is going to have Tchias HaMeisim, not so Dasav Aviram, who were the instigators. And if it's true when it comes to doing things that are negative, that the one that starts the machokas, or the one that instigates others, is held responsible. So it's certainly true when it comes to mitzvos, that if you inspire somebody else to do a mitzvah, so you have tremendous schar, tremendous reward. I shared this thought this week with Yaakov Uri. Yaakov Uri visited our community about 20 years ago. He's well known in the Geula section as the owner of Uri's Pizza Shop. He came to our shul about 20 years ago. He came to visit me before he came for Shabbos, but before he arrived at our shul, he came to visit me. He was raising funds for a new concept that he had thought of, and that is that using motorcycles as a way of responding to emergency calls when there's a terrorist attack or an explosion or anybody that's ill, to use a motorcycle, because in Yerushalayim there's heavy traffic. The word for traffic, by the way, is pakak. I love that word, because pakak, Rashi uses that word in Chumash. It says that Yaakov removed the stone from the be'er, like he removes a pakak from a bottle. A pakak is a cork. So in modern Hebrew, pakak is traffic, because it's a bottleneck in where everybody prevents people from traveling. So he said that there's a tremendous problem that the traffic in Yerushalayim is very heavy, and if people are injured or people have a heart attack, by the time the medics get there, it may be too late to save their lives. So he came up with a brilliant idea. He had a pizza shop, and he had faced with a similar problem. People called up for a delivery, and he had to get through the traffic. How was he going to do that? And so he came up with the idea of using motorcycles to make deliveries, and he shared this idea with Hatzalah, that they should equip motorcycles with emergency medical supplies, and this way they could respond within 2 or 3 minutes to any emergency situation. And the difference between life and death every minute, when there's either a heart attack or a stroke or a terrorist attack, every single second makes a difference. And as a result, he was able to save countless lives. So he equipped numerous motorcycles with these emergency kits for Hatzalah, and I was so inspired by his idea that I invited him to stay with us for Shabbos. He stayed at my house, and he's a fascinating person. And he spoke in shul, and we raised in the shul. Baruch Hashem, our shul is so unbelievably generous, and we gave. He left with a very sizable donation that helped purchase more motorcycles for Hatzalah. So I was passing by his pizza shop in Geula yesterday, and I saw the name on the store, that it's Uri's Pizza Shop. So I immediately went into the pizza shop with Fagi, and unfortunately he was not in the store, but I met his grandson. I told his grandson the story about how his grandfather came to Edison, so he immediately called him on the phone, and I spoke to him on the phone, and it was very special to speak to Uri. He's getting older, but he's still vibrant and coherent. So I told him that he has a tremendous chus, because of him, so many, who knows, who could calculate? Only the Rebbe knows how many people's lives were saved. So I told him, I shared with him the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, that the Orach Chaim HaKadosh says that Korach was responsible for the death of not Korach, Dasan Vaviran. They were the perpetrators. They were the instigators. They were the ones that started the machokas. They were even responsible for Korach being being rebellious against Moshe Rabbeinu, and therefore it's a limud schus for Korach that he will be able to have tchias hamesim. So I said, Ravuri, that if that's true, when person does an aveira, so halachas kama v'kama, when a person does a mitzvah, then he has an impact on other people. So that schus accrues to him. So I said, look, you saved. Who knows? I can't calculate. No, none of us know how many lives you saved. But it's not only the lives themselves. It's the impact it had on their families, that the spouses didn't lose their husbands or their wives or their children or parents. And it as a result of people's lives being saved, they no doubt they had children and grandchildren and descendants, and this goes on, and the only Rebbeinu Shalom could calculate all the good that came from your simple idea of equipping motorcycles with emergency kits. And I said, I'm a fan of you. I'm jealous of you. You have such a tremendous, so many schusim, millions, billions of schusim in Olam Haba because of the mitzvah that you perform. And it's such a powerful lesson that whenever a person does something in a negative way, if you affect somebody, then there's a ripple effect that goes on and it continues for you could. I had a Rebbe, not a Rebbe. I had an English teacher in high school who in Philadelphia yeshiva. He told me that he grew up as a religious boy, and one day in school he misbehaved, and the Rebbe hit him on the knuckles with a ruler, and that was it. He left the yeshiva, and he never came back, and he became non-religious for that one action. So, okay, I'm not criticizing the Rebbe. I think it was now that it's a complete no-no to hit a child in school. Knows that this goes back 60, 70 years ago. It was considered acceptable, but nonetheless, maybe the Rebbe hit him too hard on the knuckles, and it transformed this person's life, and as a result, he was lost. I don't know who he married in the end, and I don't know what kind of children he had. Maybe his children or his grandchildren came back to Yiddishkeit. Who knows? Maybe they became Baal Tshuva. But you see the impact that how one action, the Rebbe hit him on the knuckles with a ruler too hard, and that changed this person's life in a negative way. So in a positive way, you could do a small deed, and you give a person encouragement, and befriend somebody. I talk always about saying hello to people when they come into shul, and giving people support. We have no idea how much good we're able to accomplish, and the words of the Orach Chaim HaKadosh should ring in our ears that there's a limud schus for Korach. That means that we could find something good to say about Korach, even though Korach is a symbol of evil, and that nobody else perished the way he did. He was swallowed up by the earth, he disappeared off the face of the earth. But nonetheless, there's still something good to say about Korach, and that is, Das and Avira were the ones, they're the perpetrators, and they're responsible for what. Korach also obviously he had responsibility, but Korach will be able to rise in Tchias HaMesim. So it shows how much when we the cause and effect of our deeds is not lost, and it accrues to us. If it's in Chas v'Shalom in a negative way, we have to be so careful how we conduct ourselves in front. If we speak Lashon Hara, and as a result we set an example for others that they should speak Lashon Hara, and then if that goes on, and the children, that becomes our avera. And when we motivate somebody to do a mitzvah, we receive reward for generations to come. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful Shabbos.